Well, first of all, Lieutenant Colonel Adrien G. Humphreys, Commander of the Radford Army Ammunition Plant. First of all, I do thank you for your time. And I got to ask you, first of all, what made you want to, join the military? Like, what made you want to get into serve the country in the military?
Sir, I absolutely appreciate that question because, as you know, every military person joined for a different reason. So as I was sitting in college, and I understood that everything that I've studied and learned in college, it was preparing me, it gave me the skills and the knowledge to be able to go into the workforce and be impactful. But I was getting ready to graduate, and I looked up and I saw this particular video that said, "Be all you can be, join the United States Army." And I recognized it right away as an opportunity for me to actually challenge myself and to push the boundaries of the possibilities, So I saw that as an opportunity for me to explore what was beyond the possible, and I saw it as an opportunity for me to become a leader of consequence, to become a leader that makes an impact, and more importantly, to be able to give back to people and to a nation that have invested heavily in me. So that's why I joined.
Biggest thing, when I look over your bio, and it's an impressive bio, the two things that really stand out to me is obviously leadership, because you've been in so many leadership roles, but education. Talk about the value of both, because they seem like in your path of getting where you are today, they've kind of gone hand in hand, leadership and education.
And that's the uniqueness about the military. So the military is about continuous personal and professional development. So on the professional side, we'll get all the military schooling. You'll end up and you'll go from the basic training to the advanced training. You go to Command and War College, you go to the War College itself, and you have all that tactical training that the military gives to you. But it also pushes us onto the education side as well. So while I was in the military, although I came in with a range of degrees, including bachelor's and master's and PhD, I've also done two other additional PhDs, two other masters in the military, and I've had opportunity to do PhDs as well. So it pushes both a civilian and a military educational challenge, because ultimately it wants us to be, it is focusing on both personal and professional development.
So where were you born?
I was born in the United States Virgin Islands.
Wow, down there.
Yes, right next to the great statehood of Puerto Rico. Yes.
The great state of Puerto Rico, all the territories and all that good stuff.
Yes.
So when you look at the military, what was, when you first started, what was some of the challenges that you had to face, or what was something that when you joined that you didn't expect happen as far as a challenge is concerned?
I would not say that it was a challenge, so to speak, for me. It was just excitement. Obviously, I joined with intention that my first out of the door, I want to go to Germany, and I want to do 20 years overseas if possible, and the challenge that you would face as a leader when I joined back in 1998, all of the combat arms branches were not open to females. But you see this commercial, "Be all you can be," and you see folks who probably didn't go to college, or probably they went to college and they studied business or history, and you see them being pilots, and you see all them being cyber officers, and you saw guys driving tanks, and you saw them being infantrymen. As a female back in 1998, the combat arms branches were not open, but they are now. And if I had to say there was a challenge, that was probably it. Just being able to prove yourself as a female in the military, but now it's not. I mean, some of the best infantrymen I know are actually infantry women. Some of the best combat arms officers I know are actually females.
So you mentioned something that was interesting. I mean, just the transition of how things that weren't available for women are now available for women. I'm sure, that means a lot to you to see that growth you have a 25-year military career. I'm sure that's special to see, even in 1998, how it has transitioned to where we are this year.
It is. For instance, for me, I am actually prior to coming here to Radford, I was the professor of military science at Kent State University. I also had Youngstown State and University of Mount Union. So what it is I had that opportunity to mentor young women and men that are in college and to literally walk into their classrooms, because what they see on TV is, oh, I'm going to join the military and I'm going to be a combat arms person. We were like, we have PAOs, we have cybersecurity, we have medical service officers, we have chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear officers. We have a whole bunch of branches that are open to you that are probably not even available in the civilian workforce. So our engineer spectrum is broad. It's not just combat engineers. We have the horizontal or construction engineers, which consists of a lot of mechanical and civil engineers type persons. So the range of it was just a phenomenal. It has been a phenomenal opportunity for me to see that when you say the possibilities are unlimited career-wise, that they truly are, and to be able to present that to the younger generation.
You know, obviously June 8th, big day for you, taking over the command here.
Yes.
You know, take me back to that process. How did all that come about? And then when you found out you got this opportunity, what was on your mind with that?
Oh, I mean, this is an incredible opportunity. You know, I was excited because I joined the military, as I said, to be able to experience new challenge. And I didn't want any two jobs to be the same. I didn't want any two duty stations to be the same. And, you know, I thought I knew a lot about Radford until I actually got here, and I'm still learning. And one of the biggest things for me is that most military persons, when they join the military, it's a career trajectory that goes from tactical. You're at the tactical level, where you're mostly concerned with tactics and how we fight, and then you go to the operational level, and as you become an officer, you go to the strategic. Mine was a little bit typical in that I went almost straight. I bypassed tactical, went straight to operational and strategic, and I'm now dealing with policies, etc. Then to come here to Radford and to see where, hey, this is where this is the tactical. This is a lot in the tactical realm. It's mostly on the products that we are building here, that we are making here, the capabilities. It begins here. So I was focused on all that emerging and current threat at the strategic level, and now I get to see the products that we are making to mitigate that threat, and to be part of that process, and to see the team. So this is my first ever job in the military, and it's a new leadership challenge for me, because my entire team are civilian. It's an entire team of civilians, you know, as opposed to in most units that we go to, in most military jobs and leadership opportunities we have a mixed team, predominantly military, some civilians and some contractors, but here it's 100% civilians, 100% folks who are deeply connected to this community, who've been working here for years. You're talking about expertise and experience and depth, and this is a phenomenal learning opportunity for me, one that is probably going to be the capstone of my military career.
And obviously, if I'm not mistaken, from a history standpoint, you're the first African-American female commander here, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe I am. I have not looked or researched that, but if it is an honor to be that. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that wasn't why I was selected, right. But, you know, ultimately, I hope that I will not be the last, if I am the first.
You mentioned, you know, when you were, you know, military science professor, and I saw where you were at Kent State, Youngstown State, Mount Union, and all those places. Basically, you love the Buckeye State, it seems.
Absolutely. I actually did all my graduate studies in Ohio. So, yes, I graduated from the University of Akron, Ohio, with both a master's and a PhD, a master's in public administration and a PhD in urban and regional planning.
You know, I was tempted to call you Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Humphreys. I mean, I mean, you know, like I said, and when I look at that, you know, all the things you have accomplished, is there anything that you still see out there that you want to get to? I mean, obviously, from a rank standpoint, obviously you'd like to move up that way, but is there anything that you haven't done in the military that you would like to accomplish or like to see yourself do?
So again, I have to bring it back to the fundamental point of being all that you can be, and then able to do that. It's a lot. It takes a lot of people investing in you. So I am constantly learning from not only my subordinates, from peers and leaders, and constantly seeing them breaking glass ceilings, doing things that obviously one day I would like to do. I wouldn't say it's a specific rank, but it is a specific experience. It's stuff that I would love to do. I would love to be able to command a unit in a deployed environment, and because that is the pinnacle of all leadership, to be able to command in a contingency during a contingency operation. But I can't say it's a specific rank that I'm chasing, just opportunities.
When you look at tours, I mean, this is a 2-year tour. It seems like it's going to blow by real quick, I mean, when you look at that and say, wow, it's 2 years. I mean, I just started.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, obviously the military is a constant movement. Things happen like that. And,
Yeah.
The 2 years, what is, and maybe I've asked this question, I'll probably ask it a different way. What is your main objective or goal before, your tours up here in Radford Army Ammunition Plant?
You're absolutely right. Those 2 years come very quickly. And what I hope to is that I want to focus on people, readiness, and modernization. As you know, our military is at a pivotal point we are at a pivotal point in military history, and one of that pivotal point to get us from where we are to where we need to be in order to address the emergent threats that we cannot even see, is to be able to modernize our workforce, to modernize our equipment, to modernize our production capabilities. And over the next 2 years, I'm going to have some amazing opportunities to roll out some of those modernization efforts here at Radford. And a lot of them are very exciting. They're exciting for the team who have been here and saw some of the legacy equipment. I get to work with I get to work with some of the legacy, but I'll get to see some of the new state of art that will increase our capacity to produce lethal and stable weapon for our military force, and I'll get to see us do that in an amazing way. So I am excited over the next 2 years because I'm sure there are a lot of commanders who are a little bit jealous. They get to see a lot of the planning. I'll get to see a lot of that implementation. So I'm excited.
When you mentioned stuff about when you were teaching and all that, and how I took it is that you're kind of, well, I wouldn't say kind, I think you are. I mean, you're a role model to a lot of people. What's it like having that role? Because you mentioned how, women in the military, when they see you, I'm sure they're thinking, Lieutenant Colonel, Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Adrien Humphreys made these accomplishments. I'm sure I can do the same thing. I mean, so in essence, you are a role model. What's it like to even have that role? Because you're doing stuff that probably people haven't done, and they probably looking at you as kind of blazing a trail.
Well, I will tell you this. So I have had a lot of folks invested in me. I have a lot of mentors, and they have not only mentored me, but they are teaching me to be mentors as well. Because the whole purpose of the military leadership is that we realize that it doesn't matter how great you are. One day, you have to retire. And when I retire and take this uniform off, I want the leaders to be better than I am, because the threats that they'll face, the things they'll have to do, will be way more advanced than I will have to. They'll have to be able to function at a speed that I probably don't have to deal with challenges that are super complex. And I want them to be better. So in every which way, everything that has been poured into me, I'm just ready to pour it back into the next generation of military leaders, the next generation of civilians that work with me, or that I have the opportunity to work with, and just to be able to pay it forward. And that's all I can ask, because as I said, I've learned from some of the best, and I just want that the folks that come behind of me, anyone that I mentor, to be even better.
All right, well, let me ask you this. I'll kind of wrap it up real quick. 2 quick questions. Do you have a favorite, say, military movie or military TV show that has, is there like one of those that you really enjoy?
If I do, I probably would say it's NCSI. I am into solving problems, etc., and I just love that. I'm not a. I do not watch a whole lot of TV, but if I do, it will be the mysteries, of course, solving all the problems, catching the bad guys.
And maybe that could be a role. Maybe you could join, military police or something like that. Do that, solve the crimes, which is kind of neat. So,
Well, from a military perspective, we do get to work with a lot of our civilian agencies, a lot of the three-letter agencies. So we get to work with all those three-letter agencies that we'll see in the movies, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, all of that. And that was one of the things that why I wanted to join. I just did not want to have a job that was one-dimensional. I wanted a job that gave me deep access. And the military have done just that. So I'm able to work with not only our civil agencies and international partners and universities, but even private businesses. But the fun part of it is the three-letter agencies, of course.
that's good stuff. Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Adrien Humphreys, who is running the show at the Radford Army Ammunition Plant, commander of this flock. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. I appreciate you. You're awesome and a blessing.
And I thank you so much for your segment, because it is an honor to be able to highlight what myself and many other veterans are doing every single day. We do it because we love it. And we do it because it's an important service to be done. And so thank you so much for taking the time to hear my Army story. And again, it is a privilege and an honor to serve.